Let me ask you something. When was the last time you asked your teen to do something and got a yes on the first try? No attitude, no arguing, no eye roll. If that feels almost impossible, you're not alone. Teens are wired to push boundaries, but that doesn't mean every conversation needs to turn into a battle. So, how do you get them to listen without yelling, nagging, or giving in? The answer: negotiation. But not just any negotiation, the same techniques used by FBI hostage negotiators. Yes, because when you understand how the brain responds to resistance and control, you can completely shift the way you communicate. So your team feels heard, respected, and willing to work with you instead of against you. And stick around till the end because I'm sharing one negotiation mistake parents make that actually makes their teen shut down faster. You don't want to miss it. Also, if you're ready to completely transform your relationship with your teen, my Emotional Intelligent Teens Method program is designed to help parents like you stop the power struggles and create those deep, lasting connections we all desire. Check out the link in the description to learn more. Now, let's get into it. The first mistake: parents talking more than they listen. Chris Voss, one of FBI's top negotiators, says when people feel heard, they open up. When they don't, they shut down. And that's exactly what happens with our teens. I remember working with a mom who was constantly fighting her daughter. She'd ask her to do simple things like clean her room, and instead of a conversation, it turned into a screaming match. But once she applied this one technique, everything changed. Step 1, you want to mirror your teen. For example, you and your teen are talking and they say, "You never let me do anything fun." Your response would be, "You feel like I never let you do anything fun." It encourages them to keep talking, and it also reduces defensiveness. You are mirroring and you're reflecting back what you heard them say. You're not making any accusations. Step 2 is tactical empathy. Once they keep talking, label their emotions. It sounds like you're frustrated because you feel like I'm too strict, or it sounds like you feel like I don't trust you. By doing this, that mom went from arguing every night to actually having real conversations with her daughter. Now that we've got them talking, how do we get them to follow through? Most parents give orders. Clean your room now. Do your homework before you touch your phone. But teens hate feeling controlled. So instead of commands, use calibrated questions. Questions that give them a sense of control while guiding them towards a solution. For example, instead of saying, "You need to finish your homework," try, "What's the plan for getting your homework done tonight?" They feel in control, and you're guiding, not demanding. If you're finding these strategies helpful, imagine what we could do together in my Emotionally Intelligent Teens Method program. Inside, I teach parents exactly how to stop the cycle of frustration and create a real connection with their teen. If you want a step-by-step approach to mastering these skills, click the link in the description. Now, let's talk about a strategy that stops arguments before they even start. When your teen slams their door or mumbles, whatever, your instinct as a parent is to shut that down immediately. But here's the deal. Logic doesn't work on an emotionally flooded brain. That's where labeling emotions come. Your teen says, "This is so unfair. You never let me do anything." Parents should say, "It sounds like you're frustrated because you feel like I am being too strict." They feel heard and the argument doesn't escalate. If your teen has ever hit you with the "that's not fair," drop a yes in the comments. I want to hear how often you're dealing with this. Now we're talking about one of the biggest negotiation mistakes that parents make without even realizing it. How many times has your teen yelled, "that's not fair" at you? Or flipped the script and said, "that's not fair. You let my brother do it." Here's the problem with the word fair. It triggers instant resistance. Chris Voss warns that in negotiations, the moment someone feels something isn't fair, they shut down. And when a teen hears fair, what they automatically hear is, "I'm controlling you and you don't get a say." The mistake that most parents make is saying, "I'm just trying to be fair." Your teen is going to rebuttal 9 times out of 10 with a, "no, you're not. You just don't want me to have fun." So now, instead of solving the problem, you're stuck in a battle over fairness. A better approach is, instead of saying "it's fair," shift to collaboration. Here are some examples of things that you could say. "I want to find a solution that works for both of us," or "help me understand what feels unfair to you." In saying these things, you're opening up an opportunity for your teen to communicate with you. So here's an example of how this flows together. Your child says, "it's not fair that I have a curfew and my friends don't." You can rebuttal with, "you feel like my rules are stricter than your friends." Your teen rebuttals with, "yeah, their parents trust them more." You rebuttal with, "okay, let's talk about trust. What can you do to show me that you are responsible enough to extend your curfew?" What just happened in that scenario? Instead of arguing over fairness, you shifted the focus to trust and responsibility. Your team is now engaged in the conversation and not fighting against it, and you moved from conflict to problem solving. And this is the perfect transition to strategy 5, where we give them the illusion of control. So now that we've avoided the fairness trap, how do we actually get our teams to follow through on rules and expectations? The answer: make them feel like it's their idea. Chris Voss calls this the illusion of control, a power negotiation technique where you let the other person feel like they're in charge while you still guide the outcome. Because here's the thing: teens crave independence. The moment they feel forced into something, their natural instinct is to push back. The mistake that most parents make is by saying something like, "if you don't clean your room, you're grounded." Your teen, 9 times out of 10, is going to say, "fine, I don't go anywhere anyway." You just set up a battle of wills, and now they're doubling down out of. A better approach is to say something along the lines of, "what do you think is a fair consequence if this doesn't get done? Why does this work?" Because they feel like they're making a choice instead of being forced. They take ownership over the rules, and they're more likely to follow through because it was their idea. An example scenario would be you as a parent saying, "you agreed to get your homework done before playing the video game. What do you think should happen if it's not done?" Your teen could say, "I guess I shouldn't play until I finish it." You as a parent, "that makes sense. Let's go with that." What just happened? Instead of fighting, your teen just set their own consequences. And because they set it, they'll follow through. This is how you get your teen to respect rules without feeling like they're being controlled. Here's a recap. Using mirroring and tactical empathy, you make them feel heard. Use calibrated questions so you guide them to the solution. Labeling emotions, you want to acknowledge feelings before problem solving. Avoiding the word fair, we want to shift from fairness to collaboration. And give the illusion of control. Let them help decide the consequences. And don't forget, the biggest mistakes that parents make is saying that's fair. If you're doing this, go back and watch strategy 4 again. And if you're ready for deep, long-lasting change with your teen, my Emotionally Intelligent Teens Method program is the next step. The link is in the description. Before you go, don't stop here. Be sure to watch the next video on how to build trust as a step parent using emotional intelligence. I'll see you guys in the next video.